If you've ever lived in an apartment building or a condo, you totally get the vibe, right? The shared hallways, the common garden, those delicate negotiations over parking spots. But have you ever really thought about the invisible rule book that's running the whole show? Well, we got our hands on one, and we're going to break down the unseen rules that shape community living. And that's the big question, isn't it? Because living together in one building isn't just about being a good neighbor. Nope. There's a whole legal structure working behind the scenes. And honestly, understanding that structure is the key to keeping the peace. So, who's actually calling the shots? The answer lies with a group you've probably heard of, but maybe don't fully get. And that group is the Owners Corporation, or the OC for short. You can think of it as the mini government for your building, and it's made up of all the property owners. To see how this all works in the real world, we're going to use the official bylaws from a building on NorCal Road as our guide. So, when you open up a rule book like this, where does it even start? It's not with parking drama or noise complaints. It starts with the most fundamental thing of all, safety. Because before a building can even be a community, it has to be a safe and secure home for everyone inside. The very first rule in the book gets right to the point. It is crystal clear. You cannot do anything in your own space that puts your neighbors at risk. Simple as that. You can see how basically every other rule flows from this one powerful idea. It's like the golden rule of community living, just written down in a legal document. So what does causing a hazard actually look like in day-to-day life? Well, the bylaws give us some really practical examples. You can't just be storing flammable chemicals or gases without getting written permission from the owner's corporation first. And you've got to be mindful of how you're getting rid of your trash so it doesn't create health or hygiene problems for everybody else. It's all about applying that big safety rule to the little things. Okay, with safety as the foundation, the rules then move on to tackle the next biggest source of, let's call it, potential conflict: shared spaces. It all boils down to one critical question. Where does your personal space end, and where does the community space begin? To solve this, the rules draw a very sharp line in the sand. Your lot, that's the space you own, the inside of your apartment or unit. Common property is, well, everything else that all the residents share. We're talking hallways, elevators, gardens, lobbies, and of course the big one, parking areas. And you better believe there are different rules for each. The whole philosophy for common property really comes down to one thing: shared respect. You can't block a hallway, you can't damage or change anything without getting permission, and you definitely can't just decide that a little patch of the common garden is now your personal herb patch. And please, don't treat the shared areas like your own private storage locker. The message is pretty clear: this space belongs to everyone. Now, of all the issues that come up with common property, there's one that always seems to cause the most friction, the most angry notes left on windshields, and the most heated debates. I think you know what I'm talking about: parking. So naturally, the rules have a lot to say about it. And the rules get incredibly specific here. Your spot is for parking your car, not for being your personal auto repair shop. You absolutely cannot park in someone else's space, and that goes for your guests too. And you can never, ever, ever block an entrance or a driveway. The takeaway is as simple as it gets: know your spot and stick to it. So what about your own private space, your lot? Well, you have a lot more freedom there, obviously, but there is one huge responsibility. If you change how you use your apartment, let's say you start running a home business, you have to tell the OC. Why? Well, because something you do in your own home could suddenly jack up the insurance premiums or even void the policy for the entire building. So yeah, one person's decision can create a big financial risk for every single owner. Okay, so we've covered safety and physical spaces, but the rules also get into how we all interact with each other. This is what I like to call the good neighbor section, and it covers all those day-to-day behaviors that really determine the quality of life for everyone in the building. This phrase right here, this is the heart of it all. You see this kind of language again and again in these rules. Now, the most important word isn't enjoyment, it's unreasonable. Having a few friends over for dinner? Totally reasonable. Blasting music at 2 in the morning on a Tuesday? So unreasonable. It's all about balance. Your right to enjoy your home can't just trample all over your neighbor's right to enjoy theirs. So how does the HOC define this whole peaceful enjoyment thing? Well, it means keeping noise to a reasonable level. It means that you are responsible for how your guests behave on common property, and it means making sure that any pets you have aren't becoming a danger or, a nuisance to the community. It all comes down to awareness and respect. And when it comes to pets, the rules have some real teeth. If the owner's corporation formally decides that an animal is a danger or a persistent nuisance, they can actually require that pet to be removed from the building. It's a really serious step, but there is a crucial exception. This rule never, ever applies to registered assistance animals. Okay, so having rules is great, but let's be real. We all know that sometimes they get broken. So what happens then? Well, instead of just letting arguments fester and turn into major wars, the owner's corporation provides an official playbook for how to handle it. Let's play this out. Say your neighbor is constantly blocking the driveway, or they're having super loud parties every single night. You've tried talking to them, but absolutely nothing changes. What's your next move? Well, you don't have to just suffer in silence because there's a formal process designed to solve exactly this kind of problem. And that process is broken down into 4 really clear steps. Step 1, you put the complaint in writing. This is key. It takes it from a personal gripe to an official issue. Step 2, you submit it to the OC. Now, step 3 is the big one. All the parties involved have to meet within 14 working days. The whole goal here is to get people talking with a mediator, not just letting things get worse. And if that fails, there's step 4. The OC will guide you on how to escalate. It's a structured path that's designed to lead to a solution, not just endless arguments. So after digging into all these rules, from safety, parking, to noise and pets, it brings up a really interesting final question. Are bylaws like these the framework that lets a whole bunch of different people live together peacefully and actually build a real community? Or do they just create invisible fences, turning neighbors into rule watchers instead of friends? It's definitely something to think about the next time you walk down your hallway.